I couldn't look any more sinister, could I?
That's a lovely introduction. So, first of all, I'm absolutely thrilled to have the wonderful, fabulous, multi-talented, whatever you want to say, Mr. Sean Cernow. Thank you so much for coming on, Sean.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, it's an absolute pleasure. It really is. So how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Pretty pleasing news with work,
Right.
so I'm quite happy about that.
Doors are opening a little bit.
Sorry?
Doors are opening a little bit, are they?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. It's going to be, obviously, it's a very, very fine line at the moment, but I'm struggling with this. But
yeah.
Going back to shooting something really soon. So, well, not really soon, but around August. So I'm very, very pleased about that.
It's not that long away. It's not. It's quite a. It'll be fairly soon. I mean, the next month's going to go very quickly, isn't it? I would think.
Yeah, before people know it, we'll all be back working again.
Yes.
Because things have moved on drastically, but I'm still not keen on being outside, to be quite perfectly honest.
No, I think everybody's going to be sort of looking over the shoulders, aren't they? Thinking, this and that and the other, and all the shops, of course, are reopening, and that's going to sort of make people wonder what to, But anyway, let's crack on. I mean, I've been looking at your CV. I've looked at 3 fabulous videos of yours. I mean, absolutely brilliant. We shall
so you don't want your TV license money back for crimes against the art, do you?
Not yet. No, my God. I mean, absolutely brilliant. But first
Thank you. It's very kind of you, John.
No, I mean that seriously. Right. Something I'm going to ask you is, what? It's a $64,000 question in a sense, but what really inspired you to want to be an actor? Maybe it isn't the $64,000 question, but nevertheless, what really kind of made you say, right, that's it, this is what I really want to get into?
Well, without being too, being too morose, my childhood was awful, really. I was always on my own, never picked for anything, never picked for football, anything like that. I was really small. I had really long hair. My nickname was Mowgli because I was the absolute double of Mowgli in the Jungle Book. Right. And all the kids were bigger than I was, and I just used to get repetitively battered all the time. I'd go home, I'd get battered at home, I'd get battered at school, I'd get battered on the bus going to and from school. I took to hiding between sheets on the washing lines because no one could see me behind them. So it was like a little. I used to love it when my mum put the washing out. And then the more I read, because I was always reading, I still read now, my drama teacher, Mr. Tuck at school, noticed it and started putting me in plays. And it was the first time I actually got complimented for something. So I was like, oh, okay. And then the more I started learning what it was, the more I realised that's what I wanted to do. And it's always sounds like those stories of when I was 2 years old, I decided I was going to work for the RS. I hate when actors say that because it's like, you know who the RSC is at 3-year-old? That's amazing, So yeah. The more I did theatre, the more I discovered what it was, and the more I realised what the power of it is.
Yeah,
that was. I was sold. I was like, wow, this is amazing, and I still feel like that about it now. I still feel like that kid at 13 years old who opened up a book and started reading, and then was like, what's exhume, what's players, what's scene, act, skirt 1, skirt 2, what's that for?
So that, I mean, I suppose, I think you mentioned to me some time ago that there was something you said you used to enjoy watching old films or something.
Yeah, because my nana, I skived off school a lot, and my nana knew about it and used to like shield me in the house, and she'd have all war epics, she called them. Oh, bloody war epic! The cockle shell heroes and the Third Man and the Man in the White Suit and all these, Abbott and Costello and
yeah.
You know, and watching how much it made me nana laugh and how much it entertained me nan made me want to do the same for my nana. So she fueled loads of stuff. She used to go, oh, here, do Laurel and Hardy, and I'd just start doing it. So, and she was really supportive in my career. But yeah, my childhood was spent watching Lon Chaney and you know, watching Garbo and watching, you know, Brando and watching all these that amazing Ealing comedies and you know, horror films, The Doll and Peter Cushing and The Brides of Dracula and all this. So.
Yeah. Was there anybody in particular that you used to watch on screen and think, God, I'd really love to be playing parts that he's playing?
Loads of them, yeah. When I was 11, my mum bought 2 videos back from the video shop, The Hitcher and Blade Runner, because she had a thing for Rutger Hauer, my mum. So she'd watch his films, and I'd never seen them. And I was off school, like, because it was, I think it was Easter holidays or something, and I found this video. So I put it on, The Hitcher, man, and sat there terrified of this guy in The Hitcher, of Rutger Hauer in The Hitcher, when he's eating the chips. And then he pulls the finger out in the bit where he leans up in the back of the car. And then I put on Blade Runner and was captivated by that again. And I didn't realise, I didn't twig that I was actually watching the same guy. And when I got older and I figured out that the same people play different parts, then I started developing like love for Spike Lee, who's still massively relevant, man.
Yeah.
Hugely relevant. You know, his stance on race and racism and, you know, cutting George Floyd's death to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of all his films, those Shane Meadows movies, right through to like really obscure directors like Adrian Lyne, who directed
Flashdance.
Jacob's Ladder, and John G. Avildsen, who directed Rocky, but he also directed the film The Power of One, which is another great film about race and apartheid with Morgan Freeman. So when I started figuring out they do all different projects, I started realising that there was this world that hopefully I could have it as well. And hey, presto, touch wood, here we are 25 years later, because that's how long we've been doing this.
And what was your first step in the industry? What was the first job that you did?
Do you mean professionally? Yes. Do you mean amateur? What?
Well,
elaborate.
I would say, I'm going to say, okay, your first toe in the water to where you actually either stood on stage or appeared in front of a camera.
My first time on stage was a school play called Romeo and Juliet, and and my nana was mad on Prisoner Cell Block H, and there was this little old con, Maggie. Do you remember her, Maggie?
Vaguely.
One who looked really like her skin had just been stretched, like in Brazil. Right. And she had this romance with this teacher, right? And she dropped this book in one of these scenes. So when I did my audition, I recreated that, and the teacher liked it and gave me a part as it was Lord Capulet. And it was about Man United and Man City. And that was the first time I ever did a play. And it surprised a lot of the staff that I was able to concentrate and do things, because I was very hyperactive as a child. And I still am in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but that could be said for a lot of us, couldn't it, Sean, really? I mean, we're all kind of performers without really, sometimes we realise we're not performing. So you did that.
And after that, sorry to cut you off, after I did that, it gave me War of the Worlds on vinyl and went, listen to this. Right. So I listened to War of the Worlds on vinyl and was like, wow, just all these worlds you could go to. But that's the first time I ever stood on stage.
Right. And then what happened? Did you move into did you do any training or?
No, I then developed a fixation with wanting to be a karate champion because I discovered Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right. Right. And
Kickboxer, the only movie where someone becomes a world champion without learning any Muay Thai whatsoever. You know, so I was doing all martial arts by this point. It helped me with getting bullied, and then and then when we had to decide what we wanted to do when we left school, I'd been doing bits of like amateur dramatics, going watching people rehearse plays, and then I got offered West Side Story to do in the summer when I left school. And so my teacher got me into Oldham College, where I studied with Sir Anne Jones. She was in my year.
Yeah.
And Irvin Iqbal as well, who's in The Boy in the Dress, and he was the Sultan as well in he's a genie of the lamp in no, he was a Sultan, sorry, in Aladdin in the West End, like a brilliant theatre actor. And that was when I started learning my craft then.
Oh, fantastic. And so what happened after that? Did you do transition from theatre to television, or did you transition from theatre to film?
No, I did loads of theatre musicals and Amdram shows, and made a couple of short films in college because we had to learn how to edit and film and all this.
Yeah.
But when I was about 18, I started doing extra work.
Right.
And getting onto sets, and I started making friends doing extra work who knew people who did short films, and then people who did short films, they knew casting directors. I've bordered very much on hanging around with the wrong people and getting into the wrong, the wrong escapades,
right,
shall we say, and doing the wrong things, and try to fit in, and then going to college and playing Bach and Beethoven on the piano, and doing ballet and doing poetry and voice and all this. And then I was going out into the world at night like some feral child, because I never thought in a million years that I'd ever be an actor, really. I thought people were just humouring me. And I thought people just liked the novelty of, we're doing this crime drama. Look, we got this kid who's getting in trouble and all this kind of stuff. But then the more we realised I could do it, then I started getting offered little bits of this, and do you want to do this, and do you want to do that? And then in 2001, I became professional properly and ended up in Buried on Channel 4. My first proper TV role, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Still pinch myself now.
That's absolutely.
No, I do. I really do. I really do. I really do. On a day-to-day basis, think I'm going to wake up in a minute with my head in a bowl of cornflakes. It was all just a dream. But here we are.
It is. It is. You're here, and like I say, you've such a vast array of things. I mean, I've just been looking at your spotlight, and like some television, from Doctors, Moving On. I noticed you were in Les Miserables as well.
Yeah, I certainly was in Les Miserables. Yeah,
fantastic. And how did you get on with? Who was the director on that one? I think I should have it here. Tom Shankland.
Yeah, they rung up my agent and just said, "Does Sean want to come to Belgium and do Les Miserables?"
Just so like I said, I just asked you.
They just rung the agent. I'd worked with a couple of the people on that on different things.
Right.
And they wanted this rough soldier, but he's the come on, Captain, you can wear your shoes. Don't it make a change to have a girl who don't refuse? Easy, man. It's that bit that I did. So I went out, did that scene, spent a couple of days in Belgium, and got to have a little bit of an historical thing as well, because we were near Bastogne in Carentan from the Battle of the Bulge, which is made famous in Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan. So I love history, you see. So going around the museums was a real highlight. But they rung the agent up, offered it me, and next thing I was on a plane to Belgium.
Amazing. And how long were you out there filming?
So I was only out there for about 6 days. Went for my costume fit and stayed, because it was easier to just keep me there instead of flying me back and forth. And then 2 days later, shot my scenes, hung around with David Oyelowo for the day, and Lily Collins as well, because that's who I had my scenes with. Yeah, it was real. It was really cool, that.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Sitting on a plane flying to Belgium, just been offered Les Miserables. I felt like Michael Bowman.
Living the dream for 6 days, you see. On well, that was brilliant. I'm going to move on swiftly just to your short, well, 3 of your videos which I looked at, and I must say I was kind of like, wow, when I watched A Classical End.
Oh, A Classical End, yeah.
Oh, goodness me, talk about, God, the end of that.
Yeah, that's harrowing,
without
isn't
any
it?
spoilers, my goodness me. I mean, what a fantastic. Yeah. All I will say is I had to.
Do you know what the thing with that is? Go on.
The radio playing on the wall outside, and you think, I think you know what I mean. You think it's the like underscore to the film, and of course
no, it's the Eric Satie that's the underscore. Because the moral of that story is, who would you like to live next to? Would you like to live next to a loudmouth who drinks a bit too much, and though he might say to you, I'm going to come round your house and beat you up, he actually won't? Or would you like to live next door to a serial killer who, if you get on the wrong side of him, will come round your house, cut you into pieces, and then leave your house casually like nothing's happened, and go and kiss his kids goodnight and put him in bed and take his wife to the cinema, you know? It's a very dark story, isn't it?
I would say black comedy, maybe. Am I? Would you say that's how I say? I mean, it's absolutely, guys. You need to watch that. I mean,
it's all filmed in one shot as well. There's no editing.
Really?
Yeah. If you watch it again, it's one shot. It was the creation of Stephen Walters. Who's a great dear friend of mine.
Yes.
Who I've done loads of things with over the years. He's in Outlander as Angus Moore. I met him on Buried when I did that.
Right.
Since. He's a wonderful guy.
Brilliant. And the other one that I saw, which Where I Live, that monologue that you did was amazing. That was fantastic.
Oh, me and Sebastian.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Me and Sebastian.
Yes, superb. And the other one was, I didn't see the title for it, but I know it was Doodlebug Presents, and it was a live. That was fantastic. Again, all that stuff, guys, you've got to Google or go to YouTube and just put in Sean's name and look at some of the
stuff. Thank you.
No, honestly, it's fantastic. Look, I'm going to now move on swiftly to the Q&A, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Before you, if you can put your little hand emojis up if you want to ask a question, and then we'll go to it. But I've had a message from an actor by the name of Chris Blenkinsop, and he's asked me if I'd just read this question out to you. So if you can possibly answer this for the benefit of the recording, that would be great.
Okay.
And what he's asked is, how do you feel about the future in theatre and TV regarding work, and what can we do to survive? And that's for Chris Blenkinsop.
Future's really bleak for theatre. There are all these incredible theatres like Southampton, Nuffield, and there's all these incredible spaces that how they're going to survive is anybody's guess. Some theatres, I know one theatre is raised $500,000 for a new venue. I know that there are protocols now. You can film again in America. There are other countries around the world where you can film. Obviously, I think it's going to be a bit of a long, windy road for us to get to that point where things will be normal again. But listen, everywhere you go is a theatre. Every room you sit in is a theatre. Every person you talk to is a cast member in the movie of your life. You know, you can turn a small little room into a studio. You can get a little black box and get a light and make your own theatre and your own film. It's going to be a delay, I think. You know, I'm surprised that I've had the news I've had regards to some of the projects I've had on. So it's going to be different for different people. Just don't lose faith, because if you lose faith, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That will always be here. It's just what kind of capacity is it going to be in?
Yeah. Well,
you know, and I really, you know, you look at people like Branson, and you look at people who are billionaires, and they go the opera, they go the theatre, they go the ballet, They're probably a fun film. So why are they not? So why are they not dipping their hand in the pocket and doing what's right for the populace?
Exactly.
You know, people who say there's no point about having art. All the time you've been on lockdown, you've had music and books and you know the radio and the TV and films, and you've been streaming theatre shows, which they should charge for the streaming of theatre shows. Why they're not doing that is where, you know, so why, if you like all that, why don't you put your hand in your pocket and help?
Yes, yeah, precisely. Thanks ever so much. I'm sure that that'll hopefully that'll answer Chris's question there.
I could go on about that all day, but
well, we can always go back to it at some point. But anyway, we've got Andrea. Andrea would like to ask you a question. So if you want to ask Sean's question, I'm sure he'll endeavour to answer that for you.
Hi. Thanks, John. Hi, Sean. Lovely to meet you.
You all right?
Thanks for doing this. Yeah, good.
That's all right.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, in your opinion, would you say actors are sometimes judged by who they associate with or have associated with in the past, and it can affect their success?
Yeah, it can do, but only in very extreme circumstances. You know, obviously you are judged by the company that you keep, but if that company's not bothering what you're doing in life and not causing you any problems, and they're just someone who's there, you know, you be friends with whoever you want. Just don't let it affect your work. Like if they're turning up to theatres causing aggro, or if you're arguing with them, if they're toxic, then Evo, man. You know what I mean? You don't need that, because at the end of the day, you know, your mental health and your well-being is paramount. If you're worried all the time that you know you've got friends who aren't respecting what you do, then it'll affect what you do. You know, but it's got to be, I think it's got to be very extreme reasons for why, you know, you'll find yourself without work and without allies in any walk of life, I think.
Yeah. Okay, Sean. Thank you for that.
That's all right.
Okay. Kelly.
Hiya.
You all right?
Yes, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, thank you.
I'd just like to know, what was your process of getting on with an agency, and what would you recommend if you can't find representation or you can't find much work?
You know what, I was really lucky, me, because when I did Buried in 2002, I didn't have an agent, and a lady called Debbie Pine had said, I'll look after you, and I got work through her. Obviously, when that didn't work out, I went to David Daly Associates. No, I went to Sharon Ashcroft Management, and then after there, I went to David Daly. From David Daly, went Shepherd. From Shepherd, I ended up at. But the process that I use is just either a recommendation from friends if they give an introductory letter and they'll get you on with that agent, you go for a meeting with them, or if you write to them, I always used to keep it just really short, because they'll be able to look at your CV and see what you've done, and watch your showreel and see what you've done. So only a very small paragraph, and I've never chased them up either, because I've always been too nervous to. I think I've chased up once. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and if someone couldn't find representation, do you have any advice of how to keep creative in the industry, or is it just you really
if
need
somebody does what we love?
If someone didn't have representation, how would you recommend they keep?
Oh yeah, man, keep creating, keep making things, keep putting poems out, keep making little shorts, doing soliloquies. Write a one-person show.
Yeah.
Because there's loads of really good pub theatres in London. So if you write a one-person show, you go down there, you pay a little bit of money, obviously, to rent the space. But a lot of the time, they put marketing fees in there with that, and they put, just give me a sec, sorry, my love. They'll put like marketing allowance in it, so you'll be able to get them marketing your show. Then you can invite agents down, and all it takes is just one of them to take a punt on you and take you on and fight for you and get you work.
Yeah, Brill, thank you.
That's all right. Yeah, keep doing it. Do anything you want. Learn everything you can. Read everything you can, and just keep creating. And eventually, it'll pay off.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want to be an actor, you'll be an actor. If you're determined enough, and you're hungry enough, and you're serious enough, you can do it.
That's it. Absolutely. Thanks very much, Kelly. Sharon.
Hiya.
Hey, you're right, Sharon.
Hiya, Sean. Yeah. I would say mine was similar to Kelly's. That's why I've just put my hand down. But yeah, I came into the industry later. I was, 40 odd before I started.
Sorry?
Say I came into this industry a lot later, so I've not done like the drama schools and that sort of stuff. I'm yet to get my first TV role. What would you? No, I'm still waiting. Fingers crossed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll get it, man. Keep pushing them doors down, man, and it'll come. Trust me.
Because that was what I was going to say. Was what can you do other than keep banging on those casting directors' doors?
Yeah. All you can do is just keeping on, man. That's all you can do. Look for people who are making work and see if you can get on with them.
Yeah, you see, I've done all the short films and that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? I've got past that stage.
How old are you?
I'm 52 now.
Are you 52? Do you know what? I was gonna suggest youth theatre or like theatre company near you. Yeah, you look proper young, man. Why don't you have a look and see what see what my community theatre groups are near, and just keep doing things and just keep applying.
Yeah, they're all amateur stuff, and I'm I'm at the professional level. I am on Spotlight and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got to that point.
Have you thought about maybe going to theatres and studio theatres and seeing which of their staff you can link up with? Maybe get a meeting with the artistic director, because I've had meetings with ADs.
I tend to do more film. I'm more a camera than stage.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So it's getting in with those TV. Have you contacted TV state? Like BBC, ITV, whatever.
Have I what?
Have you contacted the TV people direct, or have you always gone through casting directors?
No, my agent just sends me for work, and then I do the audition and hopefully get the job.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. I'm still waiting for the agent to do that one.
Who are you with?
It's called Northern Star Agency.
Northern Star?
Yeah.
With them?
Yeah. She only took over last January, so she's new. But she's worked in LA, so she's got masses of contacts out if I wanted to work out there.
Brilliant.
But here she's still classed as fairly new.
Yeah.
And stuff. So yeah, but yeah.
Well, as long as she fights for you and gets you in the room, that's.
She will do. Yeah. I would say she ought to do. I helped her when she had a baby. So.
Right.
I was a birth partner. That's how close I am to my agent.
Right. Okay.
Very good.
That is very close. Yeah.
That is very close. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was. It was just, is there anything more other than pestering?
No, if you have a look on Twitter, there are loads of things that look at BBC Writers' Room. There's loads of initiatives and things with them. There's loads of stuff going on that you can get involved with. Short films in isolation.
I've done that one, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because I was part of that isolation series that Steve did.
Oh, brilliant!
I was in that.
Oh, brilliant!
I was in the finale. Yeah. So I've done a couple of bits while we've been in isolation, but it's just getting that TV credit.
Yeah.
That first foot in the door.
Listen, just spread your wings out as far and wide as you can.
Yeah. Well, I'm just waiting till, I've got a visa application to do because I have got stuff over in America, but nothing here.
Right.
That's going to be a long process, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they've just opened LA again, so.
Yeah. Well, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
That's great.
That's all right.
So, okay, is there anybody else got a question? What about Ram? Okay, if you'd like to fire away with your question.
Yeah, hello there, Sean. How you doing,
mate? Hi,
Ram. Congratulations on your career, mate. Yeah, I hope you're the best. And so my question goes as follows. When it comes to contracts, in your own opinion, how do you know that you want to be in such, you know, like you want to work with these people when it comes to contracts? And what are like the tips in order to find if it's like good or bad, or in your opinion, like you've probably been to many of them. So
sorry, I've probably been what?
Many contracts.
I've had a few, yeah.
Yeah, like few in general. How do you know if these are legitimate or not? Or in your opinion, would you like to be part of them or not?
Well, because my agent sent me up to him, so they're legit. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, when I've done indie stuff, that's been legit. You know straight away if it's not legit. So it doesn't look right. Do you know what I mean?
And I would imagine, I mean, as you know, with any contract.
Got an amazing voice as well.
He has, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Brilliant for voiceovers.
Yeah. So I was just going to say that.
What do you think? I mean, you know, with what Ram's just said about contracts, I mean,
you'd know straight away. You'd know straight away if it's dodgy. And as well, if you get a contract, you should always show your agent as well and just run it by them.
Yeah.
Because they're there for your best interest. So I just run it by my agent, or I just ask and just say. But you know if it's a dodgy contract or not. You really can tell. It just doesn't look right, and it doesn't sound right, and leaves you questioning it. Do you know what I mean? You can spot it basically.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy to spot them. I hope that answers your question, because luckily I've not had any contracts like that. So.
Yeah, because I've been watching some videos lately, and I've been specifically about contracts and stuff like that. And I was just like, how to identify what if you like.
Debbie Bird just said you can always ask Equity to look over it as well. There's loads of ways to spot if it's dodgy or not, and you'd notice in your head. You know what I mean? Just you'd be looking at it, and it'd make you think this is dodgy. It's easy to spot.
Yeah, that's it. All right, thank you very much.
That's all right.
Debbie, have you something you might like to ask Sean? No. Okay.
Question.
One second. Hannah. Hello, Hannah.
I don't know if Spotlight would look over contracts, but I'd imagine so.
I would have thought so, yes. And what about Equity?
So.
I mean, Equity would always look at them, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd imagine they'd look at it, yeah.
Because they can
I know
see,
Equity would, for sure.
I mean, there's obviously equity contracts, and there can often be equity approved contracts, which are two different things, aren't they? Yeah. Sorry, Hannah, if you want to ask Sean your question.
Yeah, I've got a few that sort of overlap in a way. So what's off-putting to someone in the acting industry? And like, so if you had, is it better to meet people first before putting out content, or like what things do you do that's, so because I'm graduating next year, so I've still got like a full year of work that I can build up, put a show reel together, but we're in lockdown at the minute, so I've not got the connections of people at uni, and I'm on my own with like limited things, so I'm scared to put out content just in case it's not good enough, and I'm always scared people are going to look at it and go,
do you know what, if you're scared it's not good enough, I'd send it to somebody that you can trust first and just say, what do you think to this? Does it, you know what I mean? When I'm writing something, I'll get people to look over it and tell me what rings right and what doesn't ring right, and what they think's naff or whatever. And like my solo show being Sebastian, that took me just over 3.5 years of R&D on it before we even properly showed it.
Okay.
Yeah, but and I've done it every year. Well, not every year, but I've done it since I put it out. I've done it about 12 times. The show, and it does change a little bit. So if you're not sure about it, send it to someone and ask them to have a look over it and tell you what they think. If it's someone who you know will give you an honest answer.
Okay.
But how are you going to know if you don't release it?
Yeah, I'm always scared they're going to go, oh well, the video quality is not great and we can't hear the sound, so we're not going to invest in this person
if
because
you
they're
can't
not.
hear the sound and the video quality's not great, I wouldn't put it out.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? If you want it
Yeah.
to look good, work hard on it. You know, it's easy to get a nice, crisp image and a nice, crisp sound. Do you know what I mean? But don't put some out if it's not audible or the video quality of it isn't as good as it could be, because then you'll want to do it again and again and again, and you'll end up with a benchmark that you started out with that was really low. So until it's perfect for me, I won't send it out.
Okay. So would you say
There's
in this
loads of
situation
stuff
it's
I've never
better?
released because of that.
Would you say it's better to make connections in this sort of the environment
Absolutely,
we're in
yeah,
now,
yeah.
instead of putting out content, just meet
Do you know
people
what?
instead?
You want to get in with as many people. Just look for people who do good work, good people who do good work. Do you know what I mean? Nice, honest work. You know, a nice group of people who are all there for the same reason. Do you know what I mean? And you'll start to spread your wings more, and your network will grow. And then eventually you'll have people asking you to go and do things with them.
Okay.
So I'd say, yeah, but get to know everybody as much as you can in your industry.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you very much, Hannah. David would like to ask you a question. Sorry, Claire. Yes, it's over to you then. Sorry. Evening, Claire. Question to Sean.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, hi, Sean. Have you any experience with radio? Because, you know, I really, of all the, you know, vehicles, whether it's theatre, film, you know, TV, I really, really, really want to try and make inroads into radio.
Yeah.
The only connection I've got is an old school friend who works for a production company, produce plays for BBC Radio 4, but obviously he said that he can't guide me at all. So I wondered if you'd had any experience with radio or any suggestions of
you
me.
know what? I'm so sorry. I've only ever done one radio play, A Second Chance by Nadia Molinari. So only radio play I've ever done that in 2002, I think it was. But I've never done any radio since. I'm so sorry.
Okay, all right. Okay, thanks anyway.
I think BBC Writers' Room does the radio as well, though. I'm not too sure. I start with the BBC Writers' Room, but yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know anything about radio, really.
I'll check out the BBC Writers' Room. Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all right.
Thank you. Well, I think David would like to ask you a question, Sean.
Yeah.
Hi, Sean. Yeah, it's a really quick question. I saw on your CV that you'd done a Clockwork Orange at the National.
Say this again?
On your CV, you did a Clockwork Orange at the National?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
That is one hell of a film. How did it work on stage?
We did an updated version of it with Benji Reed, who directed it and created it, and it came from the book of A Clockwork Orange, because there's 21 chapters in it. The film only goes up to the 20th chapter when he's come off Dr. Brodsky's experimentations, and then his old Drugs find him and beat him up, and all these things happen to him. Well, he actually, when he jumps out of the window, he survives and he turns his life around, and he's murdered by Dim. Dim kills him. Right. So we worked on that, but then it became its own piece and went right back through it. But Clockwork Orange is one of my favourite films, man. And so to get to do that at the National Theatre was an absolute dream come true. I couldn't believe it. It was brilliant. I've got loads of fond memories from that show. And we sold out faster than Justin Timberlake as well, I remember that. Yeah. Sold the show out in 90 seconds. I was like, have that, Justin.
Really?
Have that, JT, man. Have it.
Amazing.
So it was brilliant. Absolutely love A Clockwork Orange. All the complexities in it, not just with Alex, but with the whole thing. Yeah. It's set in Manchester. It's this feral group of lads. But when you look at him, he loves art and he loves Beethoven and he loves music and he loves history and he loves fashion. It just so happens he also loves violence as well. And that mad yin and yang about him is oh yeah, he's a great character to play. Yeah, I loved it. That I'd do it again in an heartbeat. That show.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, who have we not had on? How
Got
about
Singing in the Rain going through my head now.
How about Jill? Can you unmute yourself, darling? Thank you.
John and I chat every day. I can ask him a question. We've become quite firm friends.
Yeah, man. How you doing, Jill? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. Peg's asleep. Peg's right there. She's not got her boots on. Can you see her?
No.
Yeah, I seen her with the boots on. Brilliant, that.
Yeah, people like the boots. No, I just think that okay, let me ask a question. I'll ask quite a basic question.
Yeah.
So when I fly on June 30th, I've got a quarantine, and then if I get an audition, you live in, where are you, up in Manchester?
Yeah.
So where's like where's is there a regular place you go to audition? Like when you stay in London?
Do you know what? I actually, the majority of my auditions are always in London.
Where are they? Where do you stay, or like when you go there, do you go for the day? Do you stay for a night?
No, do you know what? I generally stay in London for a couple of weeks to a couple of months sometimes. Sometimes I'll be in and out. Sometimes I'll stay with friends. Sometimes I'll rent somewhere. But back in the day, I used to like sleep in hostels and sleep in like theatre digs or like sleeping on a mate's settee, and then I just ended up staying there. Last couple of years, I spent more time in London than Manchester a lot of the time. Right. So I stay with friends because I could be anywhere for meetings. I've been for meetings in cafes, libraries, museums, all sorts of different. But yes, the majority is London, Jill.
Right. And so now, for instance, when you were traveling to London for a day, is there like an area where you're like, oh, it's normally in, by Marble Arch, or is it like?
It's Rovia, all up in the West End. The majority of them up in there. Yeah, okay. So I'd get off the coach and just walk past Buckingham Palace, down the Mall, up through where the Ritz is, right up to the back of the church near BAFTA, and then you're pretty much in Soho.
Right. Oh,
that takes 38 minutes.
Right. Okay, that's good to know. I was like, I wonder where I'll have to go to, but now I know Soho area quite well.
Yeah, it could be anywhere. I remember I had one in Victoria Station, and I was like, that's quite mad. Just went to meet a guy, talked to him about the play, and then he offered it me. I couldn't believe it.
Oh man!
I'll come see you soon, okay? All right.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know.
No, please.
But yeah, it's always generally up round the West End and Fitzrovia, or if it's or it's a self-tape a lot of the time now. Yeah.
I just got asked by the agent Julie. She said, "Are you willing to do face-to-face auditions?" She's like, "Because we've already had some."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But my brother lives in Windsor, so I'll just stay with him rather than go down to Devon. What's that?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh. Did we lose him?
Yeah, sorry. Can you see me?
He's back.
Back. All right, that's it. That's all my questions. I'm done.
Lovely.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you very much. Right, I'm going to. Debbie, are you wanting to ask a question now?
Yeah.
Give me one sec. I'm just having a bit of a tech thing here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Listen, I'm going to leave and think something's wrong with my mic. Just give us a minute.
Okay. He's gone off. He's going to come back. So we can if you just unmute and talk amongst yourselves, and then when he comes back in again, we can revert back to the Q&A. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording And then so, Debbie, you'd like to ask Sean a question, would you?
Yeah. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Debbie. All right.
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for doing this.
That's
It's
all right.
really, it's really interesting that you've done a one-person show, because I've written a one-person show that's on tour, but obviously it's on pause right now.
I've heard of it, buzzing.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Some of my friends saw that and loved it.
Oh, who was that? Did I
do you know what? I can't remember who it was, because I went, "What's this, buzzing?" And they went, "Yeah, yeah." And I went, "What's it about?" And they told me, I went, "Oh, right, okay." And said, "I might check that out."
Yeah,
I think it might have been David Oyle told me. I can't remember. Who was it? I'll remember. It was a while ago. But yeah. Congrats, man. It sounds amazing, that show.
Thank you. Well, I've had some more bookings this week, so fingers crossed it's coming back.
Stop. That's so good.
Yeah. But why did you only do 12 performances of yours?
Because I'd end up going on jobs for weeks at a time and things like that. And then when I came back, my time would be spent in, auditioning, or I didn't have any money. So whenever I did a decent paying TV job, I'd put a bit aside and rent a space somewhere and do it. And then when I mean 12 performances, I mean varying, like, say, 9 performances one year, 8 performances another kind of thing. And then Contact Theatre had it on 3 times there, and people just keep asking for it back. So, but I'm going to write something new. But yeah, I did it in between jobs. It was a good way to keep money coming in and keep myself creative.
Yeah.
But I should have done it more, I should have done it more.
I know. Everyone keeps saying when you're going to write another one, but when you've written one and it worked, and now you're terrified that if you do another one, it won't be as good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a really good way of looking at it, that. But you never know. The next one might be amazing. You'd be like, "Oh, God, I wrote it."
But I know what you were saying about work. That's the one thing I found, that my agent, she's brilliant. She's really understanding and supportive. But sometimes she can't put me up for things because she said, "Oh, during rehearsals for it, you've got a buzzing date, or nights of the show, I've got a show." And once I've signed a contract with the theatre, that's that.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it can be a double-edged sword making your own work, because it starts to be successful, but I'm not making a fortune at it.
Yeah. Do you know, whenever I've got things with being Sebastian on, if I get an audition, I always just set, depending on what time the rehearsal is and whether or not I can leave to go, and depending on who I'm working with as well, a lot of the time I'll just ask them if they'd kindly be able to reschedule it, and that's helped me in sticky situations when I've had, like, my show's going on in, like, say 2 weeks, but I've just started rehearsal and something's come in. A lot of the time they'll work around you, which is really nice considering a lot of these guys are busy. So I'd always ask that. Have you never asked them to, like, see if they can change their time?
Well, no, it's usually she'll put me up for something and it will say rehearsals. If you get it, rehearsals will be from this time this week to that week.
Yeah.
So no, she's often not put me up for it because it means I would have to miss, say, 2 days. So if I've got to travel to Yorkshire, obviously I'm going to be gone 2 days. I have to stay overnight. I live down in Hove, so it's tricky,
Yeah, it is tricky. You're right. Yeah.
But anyway, well done. Hopefully, I'll get to see your show. You'll do it again, and I can get to see yours.
Yeah, well, I'm going to record it. I was going to do it live, but then I thought I'll have done it live and I won't have a record of it again. So I'm in the process of recording it like a trip through someone's head, because that's what it is. It's a trip through the mind of a dying man. Well, he's already dead. He just don't know he's dead. And it's based on, like, Twilight Zone, and it's my love letter to Adrian Lynn and Rod Serling. Adrian Lynn was the director of Jacob's Ladder, and obviously Rod Serling being the incredible for the Twilight Zone, which is another thing that I've seen every episode of that show. If you ever want to buy me something for Christmas, think Twilight Zone. And so you what, love?
Thanks.
Is that it, Debbie?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Right, let's have a look, see who hasn't been on. I'm going to just pick on Ryan. Surely you've got something up your sleeve, I'm sure.
Hello. Thank you, John. Thank you, Sean, for doing this. It's great.
That's all right, Ryan.
I was wondering what would you give any advice for an actor that wants representation to write to agents, or to only invite them to shows that you're performing in?
If it were me and I had a show on, I'd invite them to the show. I'd send them obviously my CV, my show reel, my headshot, because they need all that. But look at actors who you really like and see who they're represented by, because the chances are is you'll get to be involved in the work that they do. You know, like you know, look if they represent casting directors, what creatives they represent in the industry, because it all goes to benefit you at the end of the day.
Great.
Do you know what I mean? Like an agent who's just going to fight for you and put you up with their clients as well. That's the only advice I've got with agents. That someone who reflects what you like in the industry, and someone who reflects what you want to aspire to in the industry as well. Do you know what I mean? And just surround yourself with all these great people, because then it will start making you be like that as well. Do you know what I mean? It has a knock-on effect for what you do. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Sean.
Right, okay.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Have you been looking at anybody, Ryan?
Me? Well, no, I'm a director first and foremost, so acting is something I've an interest in, and I'm wondering how to approach that.
Right.
Alongside directing.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so that's what I do. I'd contact people who represent actors that you really like, do you know what I mean? And have people on the books who do work that you really like, because then it makes it easy for you in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it easy for you in a way, because you're opening a lot more doors than you'd normally open just with one decision.
Great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Ryan. Are you okay for time, Sean?
I'm fine, yeah. I'm fine.
Right, let's see. Who else can we pick on? I don't like using that word, but I do. What about Laura? Hi, Laura.
Everybody, I haven't properly introduced myself. As you can tell, I'm not from the UK, but I do spend a lot of time there, and I have a membership with Spotlight, and I am British American, if that counts for anything. But anyhow, okay. You can still take me under your wings. But I actually studied at Pinewood Studio.
Wow, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a program there, and I have lots of fortunate enough to have some actor friends, in the UK. But I loved what you told us today. Thank you so much about. I'm a singer as well, talking about Les Mis.
Oh yeah.
I would like to read up more about you. I was trying to read up about you as you were talking, and to get a little bit more background. But I don't have a question. I'm trying to think of a proper question right now. It's just nice to connect in general and to be here with everybody. I just found the website on Twitter just a few days, last week actually, or so. So it's been really nice to be here in general. Do you all meet often? Is it twice a week or so?
It's once a week, isn't it? Actually, is it twice a week?
We do. I've had 3 last week, but it's generally, I'm trying to keep it to Fridays, but that's how it works. But as far as, are you talking about the Support British account, or are you talking about these Zoom meetings?
I guess there are two actually. Either or. I'm interested in attending whatever you have to offer.
Yeah, well, obviously I run the Support British account, and I've posted everything on here. On my account, I should say, that people can see what events are coming up. So there are quite a few more, but we can talk about that afterwards, if that's okay, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's just I enjoy being here in general, and I'm taking it all.
It's lovely to meet you as well. So
nice to meet you.
Okay, so you haven't got a specific question, anything you'd like to ask Sean, or no?
Are you going to do some more musical theatre, actually? Is that in the...
I never get asked to do musical theatre anymore, but I still like the odd musical.
I'm thinking of roles for you. You know what? Actually, have you tried auditioning for Oliver? I could see you in Oliver now that I'm thinking.
You know, I'd love to play Bill in that. Bill Sykes.
Oh yeah.
Sykes.
Fagan's a great character.
Fagan. I say look at both those roles. It'd be wonderful.
There's a really cool series called Dickensian. You should have a look at. You can get it online. It was on the BBC, and it's all of Dickens's characters living in the same part of Victorian London. It was brilliant.
I'm a big Dickens fan, so I would love to check that out.
Oh, you'd love that.
Okay.
What's it called again, Sean?
He's called Dickensian. It's just chock full of brilliant characters.
Okay, that sounds great. So
the guy who plays Bill Sykes is the most Bill Sykes you'll ever see. It's brilliant. So
I have a
nothing
student.
like Oliver Reed.
Yeah, no, I have a student named Richard Sykes. I have a teacher as well. So when I was emailing him, whenever I email him, I think of Bill Sykes, and it's just funny the responses, but another Sykes altogether.
Yeah. I did years ago at college in London in 1997. We did this night at the musicals night, and I did Bill Sykes. Loved it. Proper hammed it up like it was brilliant.
I saw it in London in 1997. I saw it in the West End because I went to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had the CD. I was playing it last week. Actually, I love it. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great musical. Who's Skulking? Fagin. Yeah, brilliant.
And Bill Sykes, of course, has the wonderful song, okay, doesn't he?
I'm a skulker. Fagin. Yeah, it's really good.
Thank you very much, Laura. That's lovely to bring that up and talk about that. So you never know, you might have a musical theatre career coming up, Sean.
You know what? I think it'd be. I'd only want to play people like the Child Catcher, Bill Sykes, all the
the villains,
the MC in Cabaret. I always wanted to play him as well.
Yes, Veal Common. Yes, indeed, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Laura. That's great. How about Rebecca?
Yeah, Jonathan Pryce was Fagin. Yeah. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Hi. I always think I don't have a question until I come on here and I hear stuff and then I have questions and I'm like, what? So yeah, my question is, I have got the graduate equity membership, but I'm just wondering if there's any point in equity. That's my first question.
Do you know what? It's a bit of a grey area, this, isn't it, at the moment? I thought it was. It caused a lot of controversy. But you know what? Equity, you do need equity because they chase up money that you owe. They chase up. They'll stand up for you if you need it. Sometimes they need a couple of nudges, but they'll be there to stand up for you and they'll be there to protect. That's what equity is there for. It's a union. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they haven't really done themselves many favours the last couple of months, and I find it very, very disappointing with regards to the way they've behaved, really. But you do need equity. Do you know what I mean? Without them, I wouldn't have had money back off jobs that I was on. I've been bullied on jobs as well, and they helped me with that respect as well, provided me with a safe, private space to talk about it with. So yeah, you do need them. But are you working professionally, lovely, at the moment?
I literally.
Have you graduated?
I've just graduated. Yeah.
Do you know what? Obviously, when I was an actor before, I really knew what equity was. When I was going on TV jobs back when I started actually getting roles after Buried in 2002, I really didn't understand it because nobody explained it to me, and I used to get really frightened when I was in a play and they were like, "Who wants to be equity rep?" And I was like, "I've no idea what this is. What's an equity rep?" And I was like, "What the hell's this?" And it was about 2004 when I realised what they actually were and what they actually do. So in that respect, I would anyway. If I was in your position, my first thought would be, right, I'm going to ask equity now. I've graduated, so should I go on to the adult one? But when you go on to a job, you get covered by equity anyway. Do you know what I mean? So if you have a job, then they'll automatically insure you on equity, and you'll get everything that you need from equity, and you'll get a visit from them as well. But I'd see what they say. because obviously the industry's slow at the moment, so not, you know, no one knows when it's going to properly settle down. But I'd ring them and see what they say.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, like, so many things that we already have to pay for as an actor. Is that just another thing that do I really have to pay for it? Because Spotlight itself is expensive as.
Do you know what though? I mean, without Spotlight, I wouldn't have work, and I'd never have had work. Do you know what I mean? Because there's always work on there. I never get work when I have them moments when I'm paying my Spotlight 2 weeks later, a month later, whatever. Although they do give you grace. Do you know what I mean? I've had those times. But with regards to casting, you need equity. I mean, you need Spotlight, and with regards to being looked after and protected, you need equity. Or they say that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry I can't be much more help on that question.
You've done a good. That's great. And may I just intercept on that? With the equity Spotlight, you do know, Rebecca, that you can actually pay for it monthly. You don't have to pay the whole amount per year. I'm sorry?
What equity are you
No,
on about?
Spotlights. You can actually pay for it monthly.
Isn't it
You
more
can do equity monthly as well.
Oh, can you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can do equity monthly as well.
So it's again, like Sean said, it's always worth giving them a call. And in both of them are very, very helpful. Whoever you speak to, they're not going to sort of, you know, they're there to help you. So it's certainly worth contacting and just explaining what the situation is. You know, so it's get on the phone to them. Don't email. I always say don't email, because you can be waiting for an answer. You've got to put it into a subject box and, you know, all this kind of thing. If you speak to somebody, they're able to give you the information live, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sean? Do you think that's a good idea?
I think with being able to pay these things monthly is great, but they also have payment holidays at the moment. Right. You know, there's Spotlight having Spotlight have got like a holiday off you having to pay your fees. So I haven't paid my Spotlight since March or thereabout, which has helped me a lot. But there's, you know, no work anyway, so it's not surprising they've done that. But I think it does help if you can pay things monthly. But really, I prefer to get it paid at once and then it's done, and then I don't have the stress of it.
Yeah, forget about it. It's gone.
Yeah, you can just forget about it then.
Yeah, exactly.
Know about that whole, like.
Yeah, Sharon's just said then you've added 3 months on the Spotlight, so now would be a good time to contact them.
Mine was like, I didn't really know what to do, because basically I was on Spotlight Young Performance with the agency I was with, but the agency I was with were pretty shit, and like I was at work and I couldn't look at any of the jobs, because when you're a young performer you can't see the jobs listed. So I decided when my membership was due for a renewal, which was I think last week, I was going to switch over to the normal adult one, and I did switch over, and now I'm like, can I contact them and say, can I do that now?
Yeah, I think you can go on Spotlight anytime you want.
I am on right now, but I've paid for the year because I didn't realise that you could do it monthly. So.
Well, you've not got any stress now, have you? Have you got the money in your bank next month, and the month after that, and the month after that? At least, even though it does always bite you on the backside, Spotlight. Do you know what I mean? Because you always forget about it, and then you oh no, I've got to pay it. Then you have to pay, but it's done for the year then, so you don't have to worry. You're full now for a year, and they've got loads of freebies and discounts and well-being support and things at the moment, which is brilliant. Because we do need it at the moment, I think.
Yeah,
definitely. So,
you know, it's nice that people's mental health is now being taken seriously by people. You know, depression and anxiety and panic disorder and, you know, all those really fun mental imbalances that artists and creatives get. It's nice that people are finally taking it seriously instead of saying, oh, he or she's miserable, or, you know, cheer up, it's not that bad, and, you know, it could be worse and all that. Because sometimes, like, well, it couldn't be worse, actually. You know, well, thanks for reminding me that. So it's really good, I think. There are loads of things in the industry that you can tap into for a little boost to your well-being and your mental health. I think it's wonderful. I think there's still a long way to go, but I still think it's a great start. But yeah, I think we've got a long way to go on it. And doing things like this, having payment holidays, is just great for taking stress off people. But doing it all at once, I think that's the best way.
Peace of mind, it's paid, isn't it?
Yeah, peace of mind, yeah.
Yeah. Does that help, Rebecca?
Yeah, thank you.
That's
By the
all
way,
right.
your accent. My dad's
What's
Scouse.
that?
I said I love your accent, by the way. My dad's Scouse, but he's lived here in Birmingham because he met my mum at uni.
Do you think I'm Scouse?
No, my dad's Scouse, but he's...
All right, I thought you thought I was a Scouser then.
What, are you not?
Well, no, I'm not a Scouser, no, but I have had people say
He just turned to my mum and said, he sounds Scouse. And my mum was like, yeah, he's Scouse. Blame my mum, not me.
Thanks very much, Rebecca. Rowan, would like to bring you on. Is there something you'd like to ask Sean?
Sorry, I had a little bit of a blip then. So I just wanted to say, because I couldn't hear, did you think I was a Scouser?
Me and my mum thought you were, because I turned to her, sure. I turned to her, and I was like,
from Liverpool.
I was like, did he Scouse?
Yeah, no, I'm Mancunian.
Oh,
I love Liverpool. It's a great city, man. The fab city, man.
I have a question, but I do now.
Go on.
I did have a question I do now, because following on from that, we were chatting earlier in the chat with Rebecca about fake accents on TV.
Right.
I see I'm in Wales and I speak Welsh, and I see a lot of really bad Welsh accents on TV.
Yeah.
Like they'll cast a name bad accent in the lead, and then all the actual Welsh actors will be like supporting.
Yeah.
And then we said about Peaky Blinders, it's the really bad grubby accents in Peaky Blinders. How do you feel about people getting cast and then putting on an accent because of their status, rather than casting?
I think do you know what? I think it's really contentious because you get a lot of people from down south playing Northerners and things like this. I just think, you know, what's the point? Why get someone to do a really naff accent, no matter where it's from? When there are actors from that place you could use.
Yeah.
Why are you not using the actors from that place? I think White Lines, the Manc accents were awful.
Like there are people who can do it. Like there were so many Americans who thought that Hugh Laurie was American when they saw him in House.
Yeah.
So there are people who can pull it off, but then there are people who just can't, and you think, why did you bother?
Yeah. Well, Gary Oldman, Americans genuinely think he's American. They don't know he's from London. They genuinely think he's American.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe isn't Little Mo on EastEnders his sister?
Yeah. Layla Moss.
I've never heard him with she doesn't speak like that in real life, and she's quite good at being an EastEnder. And yeah, it's just.
You should watch Sid and Nancy. Have you ever seen that he's in?
No, I've heard of it.
Plays Sid Vicious.
Did he?
And he's peak Gary Oldman Cockneys. It's an absolutely amazing film. That it's an amazing film. But yeah, I think bad accents really spoil something, man.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they do. You know, when I did Vera, I was supposed to sound like I was from the Northeast, and I just did not sound like I was from the Northeast. And Paul Gay, the director, kindly let me do it in my own accent. So I was, you know, I was chuffed with that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, my accent was awful, and I didn't expect to get the job, but I was chuffed I did. But when it's bad accents, it's awful. It spoils it, man.
Yeah, it does. It throws you off, and it only takes like one or two words to make it sound.
Yeah.
If you get everything
basically makes me think of that movie, Mickey Blue Eyes, when he's trying to learn the Italian-American accent. He can't do it. What's he called? The guy from About a Boy? Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
Oh, right, yeah.
Forget about it. He goes, forgive me.
Yeah.
He goes, no, try it again. Forget about it. He goes, just keep your mouth shut. That's what I think of automatically in that scene when I see bad accents. And I've been guilty of one or two.
My agent always said to me, if you can fool, he said, if you can fool a local, then you've cracked it.
Well,
that's very true. Actually, I'd agree with that.
But I was in a class a while ago, and the guy said, well, 50 years ago, if they wanted a dwarf with one leg, you have to get an actor to play a dwarf with one leg. But nowadays there are so many of us. If they wanted something specific like that, they could find someone that fitted the brief.
Yeah. Well, I remember, I can't remember who it was who told me this. In Saving Private Ryan, the guys who are having limbs blown off in those scenes, the paraplegics, he's done my makeup, and that I thought was quite harrowing in itself. Do you know what I mean? You know, because now you've got a green screen and things like this. But I think there's nowhere near the amount of disabled representation that there should be.
No. But
I really think that, you know, there's so many, there's such a long way to go with a lot of aspects of casting. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes when I've brought this up, I've had other actors try and hush me up about it, and it just makes sense to me. If you want if you've got a disabled character, find a disabled actor.
Yeah.
You know, if your character's deaf, find a deaf actor.
Has anyone this week's Grey's Anatomy that's being shown over here, or the recent episodes of Grey's Anatomy? They've got.
I fell out with Grey's Anatomy over love, so I've not watched it since.
Okay.
I've not watched Grey's Anatomy, but I remember Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, but just recently, like a recent storyline, they've had a visiting specialist come in, and she's supposed to be the best in and nobody else could do it. But she's deaf, and she walks around with a tablet that's got an interpreter on it.
All right, yeah.
So, so she signs the tablet, and the interpreter talks to the patient, and then the patient talks back to the tablet, and then the tablet talks to her. So I think the actress herself is deaf, because she does talk sometimes, like enunciating quite well.
All right, okay, I've not seen that.
Yeah, just
I'll have to check that out.
Last couple of episodes that are on catch up on Sky or Now TV or whatever, and just watch the doctor. I think she's deaf in real life, and that's how they've done the storyline. It's nothing to do with their actual storyline.
Right. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out.
Her condition's got nothing to do with the storyline. It's just that they've cast a deaf actress, and that's how they've got around it.
Right.
With this tablet.
Right. Okay. I've seen I remember a kid come to watch a play that I was in, and he followed this play on an iPad.
Okay.
And scrolled through it. Yeah. Scrolled through the play on his iPad, so he could enjoy the play as well. I thought that was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Thanks ever so much, Rowan.
That's all right, mate.
Johnny Mayer. Wondered if you might be interested in asking something. Hello, Johnny. Are you there?
Hi, John. How are you?
Hi. How are you doing? I'm going to pass you over to Sean. See if there's something you'd like to ask him, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was just put on the spot there. Sean, if you could give one advice to yourself, to your 5-year-old self, what would that advice be?
Don't ever grow up, man. Don't ever grow up, man. When you look at kids, right? I've got a 7-year-old niece, and I'll go to her, right, it's you're in an hairdresser's, go. And just all of a sudden, she's just lost in an hairdresser's, man. Kids are the greatest actors in the world, man. You know, they're the greatest souls in life, kids, because they're just pure, do you know what I mean? So that'd be my advice, that never ever grow up. Even though life will be hard, don't do it, man. Don't grow up.
Exactly. Because kids have got no inhibitions, have they? And if they just let it go ahead, precisely.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
I've got about 10 makeovers today. I've had my nails done. I've had everything done today. So I'm feeling really, really refreshed. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And I was there at the dawning of history as well. The soft towel, not the hot towel with the herbs and spices on it. The soft towel, which makes your skin soft. Admittedly, it looks like a piece of A4 paper, but I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing. It's new.
Okay, thanks very much, Johnny. Okay.
Thank you, John. Sorry, I was muted.
You're very welcome. Indra, how about you? You look very surprised.
I don't think I have a question, to be honest. All I'll say is hello, Sean. It's lovely to meet you via Zoom.
Okay. Thanks very much. I can't see the name of it. Oh gosh. Ruth, how about you?
Yeah, thank you. I was actually just about to put my hand up. Yeah, this is my first time here as well, so thank you. Sean, I was wondering, I have two questions actually. I was wondering, oh. That's better, sorry. Yeah, so this is my first time here, so thank you. I was wondering, two questions. Sean, I was wondering if you can tell us anything about your next project or what you have coming up.
Do you know what? I can actually, yeah. I'm doing a film called Glue Dog coming up. That's all I can say about that. But I've got another film I'm doing called In My Mother's Arms, which if you type it into Google, it should bring it up. I know it's been tweeted and insta'd, and it's from a book called The 12-Step Warrior. And I got asked to go for this meeting with Peter Skillen, who wrote the book. And what this film's about is he was an alcoholic, Peter, but he's had an incredible life. He's very good friends with a guy called Jeff Thompson, who wrote Romans 12:20 that Orlando Bloom's just done. So in this book, the reason why he became an alcoholic was because of his father. It was his way of connecting with his dad. So I'm doing that, and we're sort of easing back into producing this over the next couple of weeks. So those are the next two things I've got. And then there was a couple of little sort of chats if I might do such and such, but obviously because of the because of the coronavirus, all of that's been put by. So, I'm going to emerge into two shorts, which is lovely, and then it's just a case of see what else has survived.
Yeah.
But those are the next two definite projects.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks very much, Ruth. Okay, so we're coming to the sort of climax of this. I mean, it's just been amazing hearing everything and all this wonderful sound advice from you, Sean. Honestly, I mean, it's just.
Oh, that's all right.
Seriously, there was a couple of things I want to ask, if you don't mind. Just very quickly, while it's in my mind. What was your experience like with Brenda Blethyn? I mean, I know it's understood.
Brenda's amazing, man. I love Brenda.
And did
She's
you
brilliant. When I went up, obviously I went for the reading, and I went up to her and I said, I just want to say, Brenda, I think you're absolutely amazing. And she went, oh, thank you. And chatted to her for a bit, and then did the read through. Then I went home, and obviously I went on the job. And she was just from the start to the finish of that job. In fact, they all are welcoming, and I literally felt like I'd been on it for years, that job. And then Brenda Blethyn turned around one day and she goes, "Do you want to have a joke?" And I went, "Yeah." She said, "A man goes into a butcher and asks for £0.5 pound of steak and kidney." And so the butcher says, "Don't you mean steak and kidney, mate?" And he says, "That's what I said, did I lie?" And then just went on her way and just kept coming up telling me jokes. She's brilliant. You know what? She really cares for everybody around her, and then that makes everyone else like that.
Yes.
It's nothing but a really cool, positive experience. One I'm really proud of, man. Working with Brenda Blethyn, she's a legend.
Yeah,
but she treats you like an old mate. She's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what a wonderful experience and time and memory you had from that one as well.
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. She was really, really lovely lady, man.
Yeah. So obviously you played so many different types of characters and everything.
I did characters, darling, lots of them.
So
sometimes I'm shifty, sometimes murderous, sometimes wholesome. Who knows what I am?
So, okay, just briefly, how do you approach a character? So, okay, you've got your character in Vera. Just how did you approach? Because it was for the one episode, but obviously he has a past and a future and blah blah blah. How did you approach that character?
do you know what, that character in particular, I sort of had a bit of an affinity with anyway, because I've been to prison and that character had been to prison, obviously. So I know the ins and outs of like what it's like at probation, and I know what the ins and outs of, you know, getting, you know, 28 days added onto your sentence for whatever it may be, and you know how you're perceived as an offender in the community, and how you're seen as an offender who's been to prison, and how you're seen if you've ever been arrested. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I already knew what he was like. So I had the bones and the muscle. What I wanted to find was who he is. So I'd go around pubs, go around the park, go around cafes, chippies, and look for people that I thought, oh yeah, he'll do, and just watch them and listen. I do it all the time, that, and I got that from a teacher told me about it, about Michael Caine used to travel the tube and watch people, and Stella Adler said the same thing, and Lee Strasberg, and then you get actors like Johnny Depp who based their characters on rockers, and Heath Ledger did this as well. He based the Joker on Tom Waits. He's the Joker is prime Tom Waits on his Australian interviews. So I look for people that were like him, but depending on what the character is, I have millions of different processes. Like, I've got so many characters running around my head, it's like an hotel. I just sort of check them out when I need them, really, and then just, you know, try and emulate them as best I can. Read the newspapers, watch the news and things like that, and watch for people being interviewed. And I find my characters from all around me. But the process of getting to where he was mentally can be not so kind on your mental health. Do you know what I mean?
And
so, you know, if I'm going to play a drug dealer who's remorseless, like Tapper from Prisoners' Wives, who not only has Lou Bell dealing heroin and crack for him, he then resorts to forcing to turning a 5-year-old child into a drug mule, and the kid loses the drugs and he flips at the kid and then decides he's gonna have her arrested, so he grasses her to the police when he sends her on a job. To be able to play a guy like that and convince complete strangers that I am that guy, I had to start thinking about people I'd met inside and people I've met who've been really frightening. Even just the look, just the way someone can look can chill you to the bone. So the reason why they'd have Dracula's face plastered on the front cover of the VHSs with Amarora of Christopher Lee's eyes, because it's like, bloody hell, that's what you're getting confronted with. What am I going to watch? So it can be anything, but for him it was people around me, and looking back to what it was like when I was in jail and rereading all my probation reports and stuff to try and remember what that's like. And I went and saw probation as well and asked them a couple of questions, because I went to my old probation officer and she gave me a bit of time.
So it's research, isn't it? Researching on these things, and it's that kind of, you know, the emotional index as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because if you're not connected to that character, then it's gonna, for me anyway, it's gonna show, because I need to. I've been given a part to play. All right, I'm just pretending to be somebody else. But that other person is a living, breathing human being in somebody's mind. So then it can be a living, breathing human being inside the minds of other people. But that can have an adverse effect in itself as well, in how people view you. You know, like the guy who was in Porridge, who played the really tall. It was the frightening gangster who ended up in Game of Thrones as. Mason Tyrell, the blind Mesa. He got on a tube station in London on a tube train, and everybody got off because they saw him. And he was reputed for being able to read a menu or the news or the weather and chill you to the bone just off the way he is. So so it depends on who it is. Fair enough, I could take the mickey out of myself for Porridge when I finally got to do it. And when I've done comedies, I've got to rate that, you know, stereotype of a mank or stereotype of a raver or stereotype or whatever, because, you know, comedy's subjective, you know. So if you get a good black comedy or a good a good bit of satirical comedy or something like that, you know, then you can go to more fun places in your head. But a lot of it's spent on my own and researching and looking for people like them characters and reading about people like that, and then trawling stuff like Joe Navarro, having a look at what Joe Navarro says, the FBI profiler, because there's a lot you can learn from the books that he's read, I think, anyway, because we're sort of psychologists as actors. We're getting into the psychology of another human being. So who better to ask than a psychologist himself?
Absolutely.
So that's just my method. It wouldn't work, I don't think, for anybody else. Well, it would, I don't know. But that's how I get into characters. No matter how big or small it is, I'll smash that through the park if I can.
Yeah. I think it's important though that we, you know, I think that we all do it without realizing it. I mean, I do it all the time if we're out and you know, be watching somebody walking down the street, and you know, there's no kind of thought. This is not for a part. But I'll watch somebody.
If it doesn't feel real, then I can't take myself seriously doing it.
No.
You know, sometimes I'll sit down on sets and I'm just thinking in my head, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Then I'll start, you know, if I slip a little bit, so I'll start going back to my notes and things like that. Because everything's a process. So your characterization and the length of time that you're on that job, that is a process as well. And sometimes you'll come out of it having learned a little bit more about people and yourself than you bargained for.
I think there's got to be a fine line though with sort of say playing you know, somebody that's a psychopath or somebody that's you know, that kind of thing, because if you have got to go to a very dark place in your mind, it's coming out of that. You know what I mean?
When I did Clockwork Orange, well, when I did Clockwork with Benji, we'd been rehearsing in in the National Theatre Studios, which was in Oval at the time. And we're going through the piece and we're progressing through it, and then like just like a week and a half before we open, doing what's called a scratch night. So we get to the end of that week, and then Benji said, "Oh, next week we're going to be having people in watching it," and I was like, "Brilliant!" And so I comes out at the start, fishing out the bowler acts. There is me, that is Alex, and my three Jews, blah blah blah, going through it. And every time I walked to the front of the mat, what was the space, people were leaning back. Didn't want me in the space, and they were leaning back. And the same thing happened with Slow Time, what I did with 20 Stories High. I realised I was getting it right because people were backing off physically from the character, so I thought he's got that right amount of toxicity. I was glad to let go of that character now. It's a frightening character to play.
Yeah. How did you deal with that then, in as far as, you know, performing every night? How did you walk away from that character when you left the theatre?
I just ordered myself to switch off from it. Switch off now.
But you would have a personal process of how you would do it.
Or using distraction technique, going on my phone and reading something that's about a subject completely the opposite to the one that I've just done, and then my mind will be on something else. But then it slowly start drifting back.
Well, it's going to do, but there you go. Just go and watch a Walt Disney film or something like that, maybe, you know.
Don't put up on.
Anyway, look, before we finish the recording, is there something that you would like to say to everybody to send everybody away with food for thought? Something that we can all think about, and maybe something I may have moving forward. Something that you would like to tell us.
You know what? Read any Stella Adler book you can. Right, have a look at go and get a book by any book by Stella Adler and just read it.
Okay.
And try. I want to give you the right title. It's years since I read this. I'll tell you what it is now. Just bear with me. So try this. It's an absolutely brilliant book. sure it's The Art of Acting, you know, but Stella Adler, The Art of Acting, yeah. Just read that and just have a look at the things that she says. And then when you finish that, have a look at Actor and Dog by Burkoff, and have a look at them speeches and see what Stella Adler's advice does to you through that, because she tells a brilliant story about Brando. He's in the classroom with everybody, and they're all doing animals, and they're all chickens, and they're all chickening around, clucking about. And then Stella Adler goes, nuclear weapons are raining down. So everyone starts freaking out, running around the room, except Brando, who's just in the corner, just laying an egg. And afterwards he was asked, why did you just stand there laying an egg? And he said, well, I'm a chicken. What do I know about war? Just little things like that.
Yeah.
Like ways to get into your character easily, how to remain in character, how to find the truth in that character. Oh, it's a brilliant book.
Thank you.
It's very in-depth. That's my advice to you, that.
Thank you very much. That's absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm going to end the recording in a moment, and then we can have a chat after. So, for the benefit of people that are watching the replay, will you all just join me in giving Sean a big round of applause and for his time? Thank you so much indeed, Sean.
Oh, thank you very much. Cheers for having me, John. I hope I've given you some good advice.
You must certainly have. So we're going to say goodbye, and then we'll speak after, okay? So bear
all
with.
right, mate.
Thanks very much. Bye.